Hello everyone and welcome back to Newegg TV. I'm Steve. Today I'm going to do an overview on this ZyXEL wireless AC1750 router. This is the NBG6716. Alright, so this is ZyXEL's AC1750 media router. Two things to point out here. One, the fact that it's a media router. What does that actually mean? I believe it's ZyXEL trying to let you know that they've done some particular firmware upgrades as well as using StreamBoost technology to kind of give you a router that's best used for those users out there that are streaming a lot of media, both internally in the home as well as multiple users streaming maybe Netflix or other video providers out there that you can stream from. But bottom line is, yes, you get those two things as well. Breaking down the AC1750 for you though, speaking of bandwidth, you're looking at 450 megabits per second on the N side, that's the 2.4 gigahertz side, and 1300 megabits per second on the 5 gigahertz side. That is, of course, transmit and receive speeds. Keep in mind too that this router is, these are theoretical maximums, that you probably won't reach these numbers, but just that's how they tend to rate them. That being said, this also employs StreamBoost, which I mentioned about it being a media router. Those who don't already know, StreamBoost is Qualcomm's technology. It's a cloud-based QoS system, allowing you to basically let the router tell you what is the minimum amount of bandwidth required for a particular application. So let's say you're downloading on Netflix, 2 or 3 people watching Netflix at the same time and one person gaming. You could actually do those all at the same time without affecting one another, because what the router is going to do is say, all right, for these games or for gaming in general, minimum throughput is going to be this, and for the Netflix streams to get the best possible quality based on everybody currently watching it, they're all going to have to get a minimum of this and no less. Of course, that all is based on your current download speed at your home and to some degree your upload speed. But beyond that, this is also a dual band router. It's optimized, as I mentioned, for media streaming. That means you are getting 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz simultaneously. So here's the chart I wanted to show you on the back of the box. Essentially, you're looking at these main routers here that they have available. You've got the N150, of course that's N band, N300, also N band, AC1750, going to give you N and AC, as well as the N band here, 750, and the AC1750 model that's in front of us. That's sort of the flagship. So just to talk about the differences, the N150 is going to give you the least amount of coverage of all the routers, as well as the ability to do web browsing, email, chat, and simultaneous downloads. The next step up, the N300 is going to add to that the minimum requirement for online gaming, although your mileage may vary. The AC1750 adds to that list 2 more things. It looks like HD video streaming as well as 5 gigahertz clean signal, as well as there being, this is kind of confusing to me, they actually add 5 gigahertz clean signal here, but I can see it's 1450 and 300, so it looks like a 3x2 with the N. We'll just leave it to ZyXEL to explain that. So you're still getting 5 gigahertz clean signal there. The 1750 getting all those goodies in addition to getting the Dlna media server ability and 2 USB ports that they both share here, the AC1750 and the N750. But in addition, they also get the multiple HD streaming. Just to mention a couple things, the Dlna media server compatibility basically just means you'll be able to share your media onto Dlna compatible devices like TVs that already have applications to do that, and gaming consoles, so that you can share media via this router to those devices, let it be movies or videos or pictures. All right, we're going to start off with the accessories, and I'll show you this first. It comes with the disc here with the user guide, the user manual in there, as well as the Quickstart guide and Acrobat reader, which, by the way, I like to use Chrome for an Acrobat reader. I don't know if you guys already know that, but Chrome does help you a little bit there. Then we also have the warranty card. This is primarily for other countries. You actually need to stamp this and send them in. But otherwise, if you just wanted to keep this information in one place, you could keep a copy of the receipt and put that near this along with the other information. We have a declaration of conformity from ZyXEL letting you know everything is copacetic. Then we move right along to, should be the Quickstart guide that I had upside down. You have the digital version also inside the CD. Just to let you know kind of how things are installed. Multiple languages here. I always use the wrong hand when I'm using that because I'm looking at a monitor. Anyways, you also have to go to My Router net, and you just type that in, and you don't have to worry about typing anything else. And as soon as you type that in, it's going to send you straight to 192.168.1.1, and the password is 1234. A little bit of information on the back about your WPS setup, the fact that you could click the key that I'll show you in a moment, as well as the WPS button on the client side device that you're using, whatever wireless adapter that is, and you got about 2 minutes after you hit that button. Moving right along, we do have an AC adapter here providing power for this router. And we do have a Cat5E, so Cat5 enhanced cable for you to use to get connected on your very first time using this device. You have to provide some more Ethernet cables if you plan on doing more than just wireless. And finally, to the main event. This is the NBG6716, finally getting a close look at it. There's a sort of a glossy black look to this with a little bit of kind of a chrome trim. ZyXEL moniker there, and kind of some plastic, you know, waves kind of emanating from here. It's kind of a cool look, I suppose. The base itself is actually permanently attached. There's no removing that. There's no installing that. But otherwise, it's pretty standard. Some ventilation on the back. But I suppose I probably should start with the front. WPS button here. You'll need to click that whenever you're connecting to another WPS client. And then you can't see them at all, so I'm going to wait until I plug it in. But there's 2 rows of LEDs right here. You just can't even see them. Speaking of not wanting to see them or be able to see them, there's actually an LED button down here at the bottom. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm moving too fast for Kyle. I apologize, Kyle. Down here at the bottom, there's a button here that allows you to turn on and off the LED lights, so that this way, probably if you're in your office or you're in your room and your bedroom, you don't want to have those lights on, you could just shut them off. Wireless radio switch here up at the top. Hitting that button here will, of course, shut off the wireless radio if it's time for bed for the little ones, or if you just don't want to have that wireless out there. I'm actually going to go do the back last. And we have 2, what I believe are USB 2.0 plugs here, ports here, I should say. Also with eject buttons, so that when you plug them in and maybe there's someone sharing on the network, you don't have to worry about pulling out like a flash drive or a USB hard drive before it's been properly ejected from this device. So just tap that button before you pull it out and you're good to go. You guys should be probably doing something similar if you're using PCs at all, especially Windows, to safely remove that device. Anyways, on the back of the router here, we see quite a bit of information. I'm actually going to start with the numbers here. These are actually the MAC addresses. They're giving it to you for both the 2.4 gigahertz wireless LAN as well as the 5 gigahertz band wireless LAN. Also, the LAN itself and the WAN side. So you get MAC addresses for everything. That's mainly just important if you end up trying to set it up. Primarily, I find it's most important for the WAN side. If this wasn't your primary router for your internet traffic, this is just something you've added to your network, then what you would need is this if you wanted to set this up with a specific static DHCP address. That being said, we also have our SSID information, both for your 2.4 gigahertz or N band, as well as your 5 gigahertz or AC band. Both SSIDs default to this. The pre-shared key, that would be a barcode for that. But aside from that, they also have the WPA2 key here in order to get access to it. I believe that would be both of them then, if there's only one. So then there is a reset button all the way down here on the right, and that's why if you hit this reset button, you want to have that information, so when it resets back to default, you know exactly where to get it, if in fact you changed it and you don't remember what it was. Next to that, we have the WAN port, along with 4 gigabit Ethernet ports for your LAN. On top of that, you have the DC power in from that AC adapter and a power switch, allowing you to shut this router off instead of just yanking out the power cord. Okay guys, as promised, I've got it plugged in now. I'm going to show you guys the UI in just a moment, but I did want to show you those LEDs. And actually, they're not very bright. They aren't illuminating very brightly. The power LED here, as well as, oh geez, I can't even read that, WAN connection, as well as internet connection. So as you get access to the internet and send traffic packets out, you have the 5G wireless here, as well as the 2.4 gigahertz band of wireless here. Can't see them because I don't have ports or anything plugged into the Ethernet ports here, but you got the Ethernet gigabit ports 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm currently connected to 4, as well as the little key there letting you know that the WPS, I assume, or the WPA2, it's currently encrypting. That would be my guess. And I'm going to move right on ahead to the GUI. So first things first, if you go to My Router, make sure you type in http:///myrouter, because my Chrome browser likes to Google search for the very first thing I type in, and so it's just looking for My Routers. But if you add the http:// into it, it knows to go directly to My Router. You don't need a .com or .net. In fact, if you put that on, it's going to go somewhere entirely different. That being said, I am here now at the login screen, and you can select your languages here. Here are your choices for languages. Password 1234 as it starts up. Here's the time and apparently the temperature in Taipei, as well as the fact that it's raining. So we're going to log in here. I'm just going to ignore this for now, although you should not do that. You should be picking a password, and you should definitely write that down on a post-it note and leave it connected to this, or slap it right on the front of that router. That way you always have it. Anyways, moving right along, here's I guess sort of the network topography right now and what I can actually see that's currently connected. So we have the Cosmos 2 PC that's currently connected and what it's actually transmitting or transferring in general. So it looks like it jumped up to about 1.2 kilobits a second there, and I missed what it said on the other side. So that would be the download, and that would be the upload from this particular server, or from this computer, I should say. Here's the internet, and you can see that because it's a big ball with dots. That's what everybody thinks is the internet. Moving along, we have power saving. I can turn that on or off. Content filtering. The firewall should always be on. Don't ever uncheck that unless you know exactly what you're doing. Your internet settings, your wireless security. We're going to jump into expert mode because I prefer to see all settings and don't want anything to be hidden from me. Ah, the good old ZyXEL screen blue. Okay, so I'll show you the bandwidth here. This is the StreamBoost stuff. So it's looking at what you currently have it set up as your maximum up and your maximum download. Don't mess with this unless you know exactly what you're doing, unless you have multiple routers, you know, something like that, and you say to yourself, I want to have this one to have the maximum throughput, but it never bogs down the other router. That would be the only use case scenario I could think of off the top of my head. 99% of you should have this checked as automatic bandwidth detection, and that's going to be the best possible thing you can do. Also, automatic update, I'd recommend that too. Priorities, this is where you're probably going to set up which device or which computer is currently. Yang PC, not familiar with Yang. Not really sure why Yang is connected to the wireless right now, or to the system in general. Anyways, moving right along, it's looking at the uptime right now. Downloads, let's see if it'll get there. This is all in StreamBoost, by the way. This is all in that cloud-based connection to that QoS, that cloud-based QoS we mentioned before. And this actually shows you what all events are currently happening, the web, that's the applications that are currently being used, because there's nothing actually downloading right now. You shouldn't see anything. I'm only connected to this for administration and display purposes to you at home. So let's jump into the network stuff and just show you what you can do. And I'm just going to jump right through this. I'm not going to stop to show you guys much because this is only intended to let you know what the GUI looks like and a little bit about what's available to you if you were to go with a ZyXEL router. Static route table there. Here's the firewall. Content filters can be managed here. StreamBoost management, we kind of jumped into that a little early. Remote management, you got Telnet and Wake on LAN as well as port 80. UPnP, you can enable, disable it, and USB media sharing. Oh, look, you can even run a Samba server. FTP as well, that's pretty common. And the Dlna support we mentioned earlier, and you can share clearly music, videos. That's what I forgot to mention before. Music, that's kind of a big one for Dlna. Videos and photos, and you can also rescan for media contents right after you pop in one of those USB drives. Okay, everybody, that wraps up this overview of ZyXEL's AC1750 wireless router. Of course, the model number again is the NBG6716. Now, if you liked what you saw today, don't forget to click the like button. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to any of our various YouTube channels, and we'll see you guys soon.